And there's my mechanic. Hey, what are you doing down there?
Because I'm looking for broken things.
You're looking for broken things?
Uh-huh.
All right, you got it? All right, folks, there's nothing we need to do because she's fixing it all. But just in case you don't have a 3-year-old as your mechanic, let me show you how to do things. Next vehicle we have in the shop, this is a '08 Mazda 3 Speed. And this is the guy that will be replacing. It's a high pressure fuel pump. Looks like this. Should be pretty simple. Looks easy. I mean, nothing really is complicated. So first, what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this cover off, and then we'll go from there, and I'll follow the step by step. Alright, so this is how it looks like. Luckily, we do not have to take this apart. Right here is the fuel pressure pump. We just have to disconnect some hoses here and there. I will, next clip will show exactly the clips that I'm talking about. Actually, you know what? Let's see if we can do it. No, I think I need both hands for this. Alright, never mind. We're going to use both hands. Alright, one thing I forgot to mention before taking that off, you want to look at your fuse panel. Right here, it's the fuel pump relay. So, I don't know, it's kind of hard to see with the glare. But right there, it says fuel pump. So you want to take that out, go ahead and turn on the car. That way, it gets rid of all the pressure inside that fuel pump. And yeah, it'll make it a lot easier. That way you don't have gas that's spilled everywhere. All right, looking at this a little bit closer, the car still ran for a little bit. If you look at there, it's another fuel pump one. We're gonna go ahead and take that off. If it looks something like that guy right there. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and disconnect that. That way we have no power going to the fuel pump and it's not supplying anything. Fuel pump 2, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect both of those and go from there. All right, I went ahead, removed that one and that one right there, which tells us fuel pump and fuel pump. So now we're gonna go ahead, go inside of this, go ahead and turn it on, and it should die here pretty soon. Alright, and there you go. It died. That means there's no fuel in the high pressure rail or anything. And you should go ahead. Alright, let me get back out. Then we should go ahead. And what we're going to do, we're going to remove this clip right here. Once again, I think I might have to use 2 hands doing that. All right, never mind. I already went ahead and disconnect this, and there should not be that much fuel coming out. You might have a little bit of residual fuel, which is okay. It's going to happen. Make sure the engine is nice and cool. You do not want it hot because there's a potential if it heating up with a hot engine, and it's unlikely it will catch on fire, but we don't want to take that chance, especially if it's not our vehicle. And plus, who really wants to take their car somewhere and then them hear, oh hey, by the way, your car got on fire. So we're gonna go ahead, disconnect this guy, that guy. We're gonna move this hose out of the way. We're gonna also move everything out of the way. That way we can get to this pump. All right, I'll show you that in the next little short clip. All right, so we unclip this clip right here, these 2 right here, and then also in the far back, you don't see it, but it takes a 19mm wrench. It's okay to get just a open end wrench. You go up down there and look, you see it slid down, which is okay. And then right here, it takes 3 screws. It takes a Torx head, and it's a number 8. You go ahead and you remove those, and then you're just gonna wiggle this thing out slowly. All right, or maybe I need both hands. I think I might need both hands for this. But yeah, it has very little play, not much, and that's okay. You just wiggle it back and forth. I can already feel it get a little bit looser. I apologize, I am working with a cell phone in my hand, but you can see that it's already coming out. I'm gonna go ahead and set down the phone real quick, and I'm gonna pop that out. If anything, take a small little plastic pry bar or something to put it in there to flip it out. You can also use a small flathead screwdriver, but you do not want to damage anything else. But yeah, if you just wiggle it back and forth, it should come out. You probably need both hands for this, which I'm going to do right now. All right, so I just kept wiggling with both hands, and oh, as you can see, it came out. Before you put it on, look at both parts. Make sure they look the same. Make sure they have the same type of fittings. What's it called? They look identical. I like getting my parts from a certain parts store around here. You guys can go ahead and get them from wherever you want. And here's that one I was talking about, the 19 mil. It's gonna slide down a little bit. That's okay. That's what the inside looks like. But yeah, very simple to do. I'm gonna go ahead and reuse this. Go ahead and put it on the new one. Also, make sure that you have, well, this one came to the intake. It was a lot easier. I ended up taking off the intake because what's it called, this little guy came off. It's just a little clip, but once you guys take this off, make sure to put that clip back in. It'll make it a lot easier. And just in case you drop it, you know what, you might have to take a few things here and there. Make sure you get that clip. Make sure you get it first before you go anything further. And putting it on there, it's a lot easier when you go to install it, because that way you can just go ahead and clip it back in. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and install this guy. Let me see if I can do it with one hand. And the good thing about this, it has a little pilot. There's the little dowel with the little pilot hole that goes in there. So there's really no way you can put this upside down or whatnot. So you gotta mess with that line underneath, which I will here in a second as I'm putting it in. Once again, it might take two hands. I apologize. I am only using one hand to do all this. So I actually have to put the phone down, move that fuel line out of the way a little bit, and once I move it in, that should slide right back on. And all you do, it's a reverse order. You get your 19 mil, go ahead and start it, but don't put it all the way in yet. You're going to want to put these 3 bolts back in. There's one in the back you can't see. I'll show you right here. All right, 1, 2, and 3. Make sure you start those, put those on first before you tighten that nut back on, and that way you guys won't have to fight the fuel line putting these nuts or these bolts back in. And then after that, it's just a reverse order. All right, here we go. All right, so with 2 hands, I was able to do it. You got to make sure you hold that nut in the back up, otherwise it's gonna fall down, which happened to me. So I had to retake it off. I need to hold it up and then wiggle it back in place. Right now, boom, it's right there. It's seating, but not seating all the way, which is okay because there's a little bit of tension on that line. As long as you have like 2 or 3 threads on there, you're okay. Then it's just a reverse order. Go ahead and put these 3 guys back in. It's gonna go ahead and suck it back in place, and it's gonna bend that little line back in place. Go ahead and, I would suggest just starting it with your fingers or thumb, whatever it is that you can charge it with. And then go ahead and get that. Let's see if we can get it in place. It is, well, I guess they called it an, Craftsman calls it an E8. The only thing I can describe it at is a reverse torque. And what you want to do, go ahead and start them. Put them snug. Don't tighten them up. Snug them all down. I apologize once again, it's kind of hard. Right now I'm recording from my phone. I don't have a fancy camera just yet. You know, that will be coming up here pretty soon. Yep, go ahead and just snug them. Alright, make sure you don't just tighten up one all at once, because I don't know, I like putting everything slowly back in place. Make sure you go opposite ends. Honestly, I think I should have started, no, I think I did right. Start with the front, go in the back. This guy's a little loose, so I need to actually hold it a little bit, that way it can, the ratchet can click. Alright, I'm going to set my phone back down. But yeah, I'm going to tighten up these three. I'm going to go ahead and tighten up that nut right there, which is a 19. And after that, we're just going to go ahead and clip that back in and clip the fuel lines back in. And we should be all set to go. Alright, so we went ahead, put that plug in, this plug in, this back one plug in. Make sure you guys pull them. If it moves a little bit up and down, that's okay. I mean, and then we also put this one back in. Now we just gotta clear all our stuff. Go ahead and take that little cover off. One thing I did with this is that I went ahead and I put these little nuts back on here. I don't know about you guys, but I always somehow seem to keep losing little things like this. I don't know why. It just, they always fall through. They always go somewhere. Once again, might need two hands for this. I'm not that good. Nope, don't have the little, oh, nope, yep, no. So what these are, these little, they're like little square washers. Let me see if I can, yep, and such a tight little space. That's okay. That's why you have one of these little magnet guys. Look at that. Little magnet, took it right out. We're gonna go ahead and put our fuse back in. 30 amp fuse. We are gonna put these little washers back on. And then these little nuts. Oh, most importantly, don't forget to put that guy back in as well. There's no way you can put these backwards. There's only one way of putting them in. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and tighten that up. We're gonna put, well, let's put it back on. We're gonna put the cover back on. And all we're gonna do is go ahead and put those two bolts in. We're gonna tighten that up, put the cap back on along with the cover, and we're gonna go ahead and see if it starts. All right, as you can see, we have that back on. let's get the keys. What you're gonna want to do is make sure you cycle the ignition a few times. That way you can get the fuel pump going. All right. I know you guys probably can't hear it, but there's a small little click coming from the front. All right, that just means the fuel pump is working. We're gonna go ahead and crank it over, and there it is. It's working. We're gonna go ahead, go back up here. We're gonna look around, make sure there's no fuel leaking anywhere. As you can see, we're good. You know, I cheated, I haven't put this on back on, but look. All right, as you can see, no fuel anywhere. If you do see or smell fuel, make sure you turn it off. You know, make sure you turn it off if you smell or see any fuel, because that means you have a leak and the potential of it igniting and possibly catching everything on fire. Say hi, baby.
Hi.
All right, that's my youngest daughter out here supporting me. All right, so hopefully you guys get the small gist of actually switching out your high pressure fuel pump. It is not difficult at all. You need very few tools. I think I use a couple of pry picks, a 19 mil, a 10 mil to take that off, like a reverse Torx number 8 to take that guy off, and then 2 number 8s to take off that linked up fuse. But all we have to do is put these 2 bolts back in, put the cover back on, and we're done with this.